This home was given a much-needed makeover without losing some of the owner's unique personality. Antique pieces were given a new lease on life, reupholstered with new prints, patterns and textures. We delve deeper into how this look came together right after this. I have Lisa Swart of Oxygen with me today. She's taking us through a renovation she's just done that's modern yet nostalgic. Thank you very much for having us here.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Now tell us, the renovation itself, how much of it were you involved in?
Well, Oxygen was involved 100% from the beginning. We gutted the entire house. We changed everything, basically, from the kitchen to the bathrooms, the whole thing.
Now, there are a lot of elements in here that I imagine the client really wanted to keep. And of course, there are a lot of things that go with that. How did you manage the vision of the home with that in consideration?
Well, there were basically two clients, because this house was a gift from the son to his mom. But he also obviously had his vision of how he wanted her to live. But she's the one that has to live here. So I couldn't completely ignore him and definitely not ignore her. So we kept everything, basically. Yeah. We gave her a new couch, but that was basically it. We just updated the existing furniture.
So it was all about kind of upcycling, reupholstering,
exactly,
making things fresh.
Exactly.
And how would you describe the vision that she wanted for the home?
I don't think she really had a vision for the home. It was pretty much...
It was more like, I love my stuff, make it work.
Exactly.
Now, considering everything she did want to keep, which is pretty much most of everything in the house, and everything that you've done, how would you describe the style of the home?
Well, the house before was very much like a 70s, but a tired 70s kind of look. I think nothing was done to the house for 30 years. So what we did is give her a modern canvas for her own style and her own things, and just sort of update it. At Oxygen, we don't really have a style, you know. We don't do like a cookie cuts kind of situation for everybody the same, you know. We like working with the client's own things and just grouping stuff a little bit better, making it more interesting, making beautiful pieces stand out. And so, yeah, so that's basically what we did here, is just give stuff a new lease on life and making them stand out.
Yeah, which we would call like an eclectic mix of things.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice, we can explore more around that a little later.
Fantastic.
If you've just joined us, we still have Lisa Swart from Oxygen with us, taking us through this modern yet nostalgic home. While we stand here, maybe walk us through some of the statement pieces and what you've done to preserve this space.
Okay, so this table used to be white for some reason. It got painted white at some stage, and it had like a pink upholstery. So I took it down to its original color, and after a bit of negotiation with the client, she agreed to the new upholstery, which I think just works amazingly.
It's lovely. And what was your general intention with the space, and what did you want to achieve?
Okay, so I wanted to uplift it a little bit and make it the formal dining room, but also keep it inviting, because it's in the way, like you come through here from the kitchen to the living room, you know. So that's why I thought, let's bring the table back to its original color. And then also, she loves chandeliers. So we put the chandelier here. It also lifts it up a little bit from what it was like before. And first thing I noticed when coming in was that the staircase was boarded up. So that kept a lot of light from coming into this space. So we took down that board and we put in just a simple steel balustrade. And then on the landing, we created a kind of gallery wall for the paintings, and we grouped them all together, yeah.
And the frames are original, kept the same?
Exactly, no, we didn't change anything on the frames or anything like that.
Beautiful feature.
Yeah, so I tried to just give it an identity.
Yeah, and you also talked about space and layout. Were there any things you had to do to kind of open the space up?
Not this space particularly, more the other spaces. What I did do here is I brought her plate collection that she had on the staircase, and I put it on the wall in a more interesting way. Yeah. So then it becomes an installation as a whole. So you don't look at just the individual plates, you look at them as a whole.
Okay, lovely. And then in terms of the floors and the windows here?
I gave it another window treatment. It used to have very sort of heavy drapery, and that got chucked, and it's just a sheer white. The floors we gave, we put a vinyl on top of the tiles, so it's an inexpensive way of just changing the whole look of the house.
Yeah, both the curtains and the floors definitely lighten the space up.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. Having walked through the space, I absolutely do feel this sense of openness and lightness. What did you do here? Because this space feels like 3-in-1 almost.
Yeah, so we just took out this wall. That's it. And then it already lets in more light, and it connects the two spaces together, and it's open and the flow is easy.
Of course. Yeah. And then of course there are things that give light, like the windows and the light fixtures. Tell us about those.
Yes. We were a little bit constrained because this is a concrete slab. So we have to use sort of the existing point for the electricity. So we put in track lights. So the track lights, it's more functional than anything else, and it's dimmable. So we can angle them onto the paintings, on the art, and especially on the figurines.
Now, on that thought about lighting, what I like about the tracking lights is that they actually do enhance what's actually happening in the space, because it's kind of like a sentimental showroom, so to speak. What else have you done to kind of like bring all the statement pieces forward?
So we built a custom shelf for all the porcelain figurines, and it was actually designed around the figurines. I would have liked to have had all the figurines in there, but she insisted that the Royal Daltons had to go into the display case.
The classic cupboard.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is fine because there was a lot of figurines, so the display case is completely chock-a-block.
Wonderful. Now, I also like to consider that the big couches are classic and are themselves statement pieces. I can imagine the choices on the fabric, between the woods, and the style of the actual furniture was quite a thing. Walk us through your color choices, your fabric choices, and upholstering these pieces.
Yeah, so the big thing here was one of the big things, like we talked about, is the light. It was very dark and an oppressive kind of space. And most of the furniture had that very deep red upholstery on it.
Yeah.
So I wanted, and it kind of felt a bit masculine. And this is her house, and it's been her house alone for 30 years. And I wanted to make it a bit more feminine and light. So I chose nude shades throughout. So there's like creams and pinks, and some of the upholstery just added a bit of pop to it, and a bit of something wild, especially on the Italian chairs, what we call them.
Yeah, it's wild and exotic and on trend. I mean, it's my best space in this house. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the flowers, the big flowers, are from a print, an old master's print, and we did the one little couch, just the back of it with the flowers, and then on the inside there's a nude color, and then just the two feature chairs also with the print, but in a different type of fabric. So on the back of the little couch, it's just a cotton, and we use the velvet version on the chairs.
And of course, with the upholstery itself, with the velvet tones, you wanted to kind of soften it up and make it comfortable.
Yeah.
Walk me through how you balance this house from just being semi-showroom to a family home that people can live in.
Well, we changed the couch, the big couch in the TV room. It used to be a leather couch, sort of worn and old and uncomfortable and cold. And, you know. So the brief was to make the space comfortable so that the family can spend more time down here together. I did an oversized blue velvet couch and deep seats where you can, it's almost like a bed, and they have told me that they've fallen asleep on it.
That's good.
Yes.
That's a good sign. Check.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Having said that, the bedrooms, those were part of the project as well, correct?
Yes.
Now, what have you done there? Do they have the same sort of nostalgic feel? And what's happening there?
Well, again, we kept a lot of the stuff, just organized it better. We had to also keep in mind the budget. Budget was a big consideration, but we did put in a whole new carpet upstairs, and so it's nice and plush. I mean, nowadays people are forgetting about the carpets. I don't know why, but wall-to-wall carpeting in bedrooms is still a very nice thing to have.
It's beautiful to have your feet, you know, kind of stand on something soft at the end of the day, you know?
Yes. So apart from the carpeting, we just decluttered a little bit, and they've got whole new beds. However, in the main bedroom, we kept the headboard and the dressing table, and I didn't do too much to it. So the headboard with the carving and the upholstery, and it having been here before when we started, and we didn't change anything, it's sort of in keeping with what's going on downstairs. We've also linked the downstairs a bit. We're taking some of the furniture that was here downstairs, upstairs, and we also changed the palette, so it's way more calm, and the colors are all neutrals. And what I did bring in for a little bit of something nice was a wallpaper behind the headboard. So we did spend some money on that. And the client did say that she loved chandeliers, and her whole life she wanted to have chandeliers in her house. So I put 2 pendants next to the bed instead of bedside lamps. Yeah. So the pendants are chandeliers. In the bathroom, she has a chandelier. Next to the mirror in the bathroom, she's got carved glass. And then, of course, a chandelier over the dining room table.
Great. So we have a viewer who does need your advice on some pieces that they already have. And of course, you can introduce new ideas. Shall we sit down for that?
Okay, sure.
Let's do it. Right, so we have Pumza. So she says, "Good day, Pilani. Please find attached pictures of my little lounge. I need to paint it for Christmas, but not sure which color. And please, I'm open to suggestions to make it beautiful for the festive season." So there's the space. Burnt oranges, deep button couches, classic shapes. This looks very familiar.
Well, I actually like that color, the couches. But I think if she wants to paint, I'd go for a grey, like a light grey with a warm undertone, not a cold grey. And it will not be just for Christmas, it will be very nice throughout the year. Then for Christmas, what I do is put down a bit of fairy lights there by the photographs. I'll also fill it up the coffee table with some Christmas tree baubles, and maybe she can pick up the color of the couches with her baubles, and she can also put some candles in between. And then if she could get hold of some fresh ivy, like for Christmas, yes, and then just put the green ivy amongst the photographs and treat her little TV cabinet like a mantelpiece. I think that would be very nice.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you.
And thank you, Pumza, for sending in your images. With this advice, I'm pretty sure you can turn your space into a lovely home to be in for Christmas. To all our other viewers, you can also remember to send us your images and any questions that you have around your living space, and we can get one of our experts to help you. Now, unfortunately, we've come to the end of our show, and I just have one more question for you. I thought it was pretty sweet for the lady who lives here to mention how much she loved to have chandeliers, that in all her life, you know, she hasn't had a chandelier. So I'm thinking you put in a lot of thought into the lighting in this house and the fixtures. I want you to walk us through, well, most of them.
Well, if she had a way, she would have had chandeliers in every room. So I kind of had to make it work and not be chandeliers everywhere. And I gave each space kind of its own light. So at the entrance, there's a light that it's sort of like, it looks like leaves, and it's brass, and it's also, the challenge there was it couldn't be too low. So I wanted to put something interesting there, not just a normal ceiling light. So I put that one there. And then the chandelier over the dining room table has got black lines, and it's sort of a fabric mesh that covers it. And that connects with the upholstery on the chairs.
Lovely.
And
the
then
bedrooms.
Yes, in the bedroom. I put the chandeliers in the form of pendants next to the bed.
Well, thank you very much for having us here once again.
Thank you for coming.
I think it's a fantastic space.